concert critiques in cars with Emily. So I was pretty pumped about this concert. It's a new venue, and even though I've seen this band before, I'm still always excited to see them. So the concert was the Spill Canvas at the City Winery in DC, and so getting there was actually pretty easy. My GPS definitely took me a way that I probably wouldn't normally go due to traffic, which was fine with me. I was happy to take the ICC instead of the Beltway, and on the website they have how to get to the parking garage that's right near the venue, so that was pretty easy. Got in, no problems. So getting there was not that big of a deal. The one thing I will say about the venue is the chairs are pretty uncomfortable. And so like the whole pull of this venue, right, is that it's a winery, and so they want to get you in to eat. So doors open at 6, even though the show didn't start till 8. And to have uncomfortable chairs and expect you to sit for like 4 hours, that's like a lot. And so I showed up like at 7:30, but so I was a little disappointed. I'm going to go to a couple shows there in the near future, and thinking like, oh, okay, well maybe I'll like stop by and eat. But if I have to sit in that chair for 4 hours, I don't really necessarily want to do that. And the other problem is the seating is so tight, so it's really, really hard to like get up and walk around, like just to stretch your legs, because everyone is so close together that it's just really hard. So that was a little bit for me. So yeah, get more comfortable chairs, guys. Anyway, let's get into the show. So the Spill Canvas, they started with a song that I knew, which was great, and I really loved it because the tour was called Bottle of Red Tour, and so they sang their song, and that was the lyric that was part of the chorus, was Bottle of Red. So I really liked that they stuck with the theme, so that was pretty cool. So the one thing I was a little bit nervous about with the first song is I knew the first song, and there were times when the music was really full with all the instruments that I could not understand what he was singing, and I was really close to the stage. I was about 4 seats away from it, so I was like, oh man, and I was on the side with the drums and the guitarist, so I was like, this is just gonna be so rough, like they're just gonna like drown out the singer the whole time, but after that one song, the sound was pretty flawless. I could understand almost every word, even if the band was playing in full, so that was really good. I'm glad that did not ruin the show, because let me tell you, man, during that first song, I was like, well, this is gonna not be fun for me, but I was really glad that I was pleasantly surprised that was really the only song that I had a hard time hearing. So after that, the stage manager / guitar guy came out, and so the lead singer was talking about him and how he recently broke up, and like every time he would come out, it would be something like really funny, and like the whole time in between every song was just something super fun, and talking about how like he's making jokes and no one's laughing, and so it was just like a really like fun banter between himself. He had some serious moments, which I'll talk about, but yeah, overall, really great between songs, so that was really fun. So speaking of which, right after the first song, he did joke, but then he did get serious and talk about how his mom has recently passed away due to a double lung transplant, so that was pretty interesting, and it definitely made the next song, like I loved the music in the next song, and then also the lyrics, it definitely enhanced that experience for me to see that live after knowing the story. So I really liked that song. And then the third song was a song that I knew really well, and I was super excited to hear it. But not only that, it was also awesome because so in that song there are dual vocals. So during the bridge, they have 2 different singers singing 2 different lines, and I like just love that in general, but oh my god, like seeing it live and just hearing the 2 like conflicting voices was just so good. It was so good. Like I was just mesmerized. Like it just it pulled me so hardcore, and I really, really loved it. So I really like that song, and of course I knew that song, so it definitely always also enhanced it. Then they played one off their new album, and he talked about how he wrote a book with like talking about the song lyrics, and so he sang that song that the title was based off of. It was okay. Not the biggest fan. It was fine. It just, after hearing like 3 really great songs that really pulled me, and it just didn't grab me the same way that the other songs had done. And again, nothing wrong with the song. The song was great. It just didn't pull me so much. And then they went right into the song with this like extended musical intro, which was awesome. I really liked that. And yeah, they had a really full sound and a really good song, so that definitely pulled me back in for sure. Really fun song. And then after that, the band left except for the singer, and he played Sunset and Car Crashes, and just like hearing the lyrics of that song live and seeing it with like just a guitar, and oh god, the lyrics are so like just wonderfully beautiful, and then to see it is just it's amazing. It's just so good, and it really is so good. So then after that song, just the violinist and the keyboardist came back on. So that was kind of cool that they kind of like built up the like band back up, so I liked that. And then they played Self-Conclusion, which again, it's like just like hearing the music and the lyrics together were just amazing, especially the violin part, like just so good. Like the lyrics are just chilling, and then you have this beautiful violin behind it. Really, really great. Really liked that song as well. And like talk about a combo back to back, and again, like you're kind of there like building up the music, so I really liked that. I thought that was really good. Really good choices to play those two songs back to back. Then the rest of the band came back on, and he talked about his mental disorder and kind of like how it's important to be aware, and that even if you don't have your support system now, there is a support system out there. So I really liked that. I thought that was a really good message. And then the song he played after that, I didn't really know the song, but the lyrics were really sweet, and I thought that was a good follow-up to that comment that he had made about that and what he was talking about. Then they played a song off their new EP. I really liked the violin part, but the lyrics weren't super grabbing to me. So like as the song progressed, so I was like, yeah, okay, like the violin is still good, and like the violin wasn't super prominent. And so it was just like a little like here or there, and I was like, ooh, I like the violin. Again, lyrics weren't great, but the violin is cool. But man, when they got to that bridge, whoo, the violinist is amazing. Like just so good, like so fast, and just, oh my god, like I couldn't tear my eyes away from him. And like even at one point the lead singer like walked into my view, and I was like, bro, you gotta move, because he is just like, oh, so good. It was so good. So I really, really liked the end of that song, and even the end, like the lyric part when he was singing, and then the music changed. Like everything about that song from the bridge on was just like mind-blowingly good. Again, like you just get these moments where it just like chills are running down your spine, and like just everything is like just, it was so good. So that part was really good, and I'm so glad, because I really wasn't feeling that song, and then to totally change my mind about that song was like just wonderful and impressive. So that was cool. So then after that, they played another song that had a reference to a speech impediment. So I was like, heck yeah, that's awesome. Like loving that. As an SLP, of course. So that was kind of cool. Again, just like a good song, nothing great except for the speech impediment part, nothing like bad, just not something that was like, again, mind-blowing. But then the guitarist was talking about how it's his and his wife's 3rd anniversary, and so the lead singer like came back to the microphone and was like, oh, like, well, we'll dedicate the next song to her. And then he gets up to the mic and just kind of starts laughing, and he kind of walked away from the mic for a second. He was like, I forgot the lyrics, and the guitarist told him what the lyrics were. Then he kind of like was laughing, and the guitarist was like, well, you're not singing it to her. And so then like I didn't know the song, but when he started singing the song, it's about like fingertips and touching and loving, and I was like, oh, I get now why it's funny that he dedicated this particular song to someone else's wife. So that was pretty funny, and just like, again, he kept saying things like, yeah, I'm definitely not professional. And so yeah, it was cool. It was just he was having a good time and it was awesome. So that was like a really funny part, and he just like the fact that he just walked away and he was like, I can't remember the lyrics, because he was clearly thinking about like the significance of that song and singing it to someone else's wife. So that was cool. I liked that. Definitely made that song more fun for me. And again, like the lyrics are fine and the song was fine, but the fact that that happened beforehand made that song even more special. Then apparently he made a solo album, which I didn't know, but he played a song of that called Ghost Towns, and I like just again was totally blown away. Loved the way the chorus was sang, loved the lyrics in the chorus, but particularly the way they were sang. It was like that short, more staccato feel to it, and it really was so good, and I really liked that. So I really liked that song. And yeah, so I was glad that that was actually the song that they ended the show with, but then they came back for an encore. And the first song they played, he was talking about how he is like mad at Twilight, the series, because they didn't use this song. He's like, I made this perfect song and they didn't even use it. And so I had never heard the song before, but listening to the lyrics, you're like, oh yeah, that is actually like legit Twilight. And he was like, I made Twilight before the movies came out. I mean, I made the song before the movies came out, maybe even before the books came out. So it was just like fun that he was like totally aware that he was like, oh yeah, like this would have totally worked in this movie. So yeah, so that was cool. And then I liked the song. It was good. So after that song, he gave me the best news ever. Me personally, yes, but he gave us the best news ever and said that they are like have an album already recorded and are hoping to redo this tour in a couple of years when they release it, which makes me wonder when they're going to release it, which is sad because I want them to release it now so that I can listen to new Spill Canvas music. But excited that there is a future, and hoping that they're just kind of ironing out some details. And yeah, so I'm excited to see what happens with that. And then the last song they played, I didn't know that well. I definitely recognized it, but it was like super like upbeat and very, got the crowd involved. And at one point, he even let the crowd sing like at least like a verse in the chorus. So that was pretty cool. And it was like a cool feel. And then I liked that at the end of the song, everyone else left the stage and it was just the violinist and the keyboardist playing, and then the violinist left and then the keyboardist left. So that was definitely a cool effect. I like that. So the violinist and the keyboardist aren't part of the original ensemble. There were definitely some new members since the forming of Spill Canvas, but I think just musically wise, I don't think they've always had a violinist and a keyboardist. So it definitely was cool that he like made it so that they were key people in the show, and he introduced them and stuff, and he introduced the whole band at one point, but the fact that they were the last people to leave the stage, that was pretty cool. So yeah, so I just like really thought this was an overall like super great show. It was over at like 9:45, which always makes me happy. And it was only one band, and that's who I paid to go see, so that's always a benefit as well. Although I do like openers, because sometimes openers surprise you. So anyway, so let's talk about the score. Really had some wonderful, like just mind-blowingly good moments. I mean, the violin in and of itself was just so good. But then to add that on top of like those just like heartstring pulling lyrics, and yeah, it was just like so good. There was definitely like a couple songs that were lulls for me. I also was a little sad that The Tide wasn't played, and that Bracelets wasn't played, especially. So there was this one song where he's like, this is like a storytelling song, and I might forget the words because it's a lot of lyrics, so like help me sing it if you know it. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be The Tide. And then it wasn't. And I was like, seriously, bro? Like, come on. You totally had me going, and you just, no. So yeah, so I would have loved to hear The Tide and Bracelets or Bracelets. But maybe next tour, that will give me hope that they are coming out with a new album. So hopefully they'll be playing other things, and hopefully Bracelets and The Tide will be on that list. But overall, really great shows. And again, just so many moments of just like bone-chillingly good music, like just so good. I'm gonna have to give this played more music that I did know, and would have really, really loved if they, had, again, like I said, played songs that I knew. Sorry. And there were a couple songs that were and then of course there was the seating, although that's not their fault. But yeah, I think a 9.25 is good, because it definitely had its moments that I was totally blown away and just taken, like I was like enamored, like I was just totally mesmerized and couldn't take my eyes or ears away from the moment, which is like, I love those moments. That's why you go to shows, is just to have that moment where you are just so in it. But again, then there were moments that were not like that, and yeah. So I think 9.25. Let me know what you think. Do you think that score is fair? Please comment, like, subscribe, and yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.